Hey Barca fans, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Barcelona's 3-0 victory over Mallorca at the Spotify Camp Nou. And honestly, how could I pass up the opportunity to talk football with such a great audience about the team that keeps doing serious things in La Liga and beyond? If you're ready, I'm ready, so let's get into it. This wasn't Barcelona's greatest performance of all time, and that's fine, because champions don't need to be perfect every week, they just need to get the job done. Goals from Robert Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, and Marc Bernal. Clean sheet, 3 points secured. And just like that, Barca opened up a 4-point lead over Real Madrid. Tell me, what's not to love about that? Now, before we get into individuals and moments, let's talk about the game itself, the rhythm, the control, and what Barcelona were trying to do. Mallorca came to Camp Nou with a very clear game plan. 5 defenders, very compact, sit deep, and look for counter-attacks. The kind of setup that can frustrate teams if you lose patience, but thankfully Barcelona didn't. The ball circulation was calm, the tempo was measured, and there was no sense of panic even when openings didn't appear immediately. This is something I really appreciate about our performance in that game, because remember, we were playing with a midfield that had no Frenkie de Jong and no Pedri. It was important that we maintained possession, and we did it very, very well without our first 2 midfielders, and it was amazing. I really loved how we approached the game from the very beginning. Yes, Mallorca had a few moments in transition, but at no point did it feel like Barca were losing control of the game. This was dominance without noise. I personally feel that Lewandowski's goal was very important because it changed the dynamics of the game. It gave us the confidence to take the game by the scruff of the neck without feeling any sense of pressure, the kind of pressure we would have felt if the game stayed at 0-0 for too long. Once Mallorca had to step out a little, spaces began to appear. Lamine Yamal took his goal with confidence and maturity that's becoming normal for him now, and Marc Bernal's goal sealed what already felt inevitable. Boys from La Masia doing great things. For me, 3-0 wasn't a flattering scoreline, it simply reflected the balance of the game. Before I go any further, I think it's important for me to talk about the penalty that was denied Barcelona and Lamine Yamal in that game. Now, here's what happened. Lamine Yamal gets the ball and moves into the box of Mallorca. Mujica, the left back, the Colombian left back who's been facing him all game, trips him in the box and Lamine Yamal falls. And what did the referee do? He simply waved play on. I don't understand. And to think this happened right in front of the referee where he's supposed to get the very best view in order to make the right decision, this is simply mind-boggling. I have absolutely no doubt that if this happened against Real Madrid, the referee will be very quick to blow the whistle without even waiting for VAR to intervene. It is clear to me that Barca would need to be 100% perfect to win the La Liga, which is quite a shame because the playing ground is not level. La Liga is obviously leaning towards Real Madrid as they have done so many years ago. And this is not fair because every team is supposed to have the same level of officiating. Yes, mistakes can happen, but when there are blatant decisions against teams that are playing against Real Madrid or against Barcelona, because obviously we end up being in the title race with them, it is very unfair and it needs to stop. How does this help the league if the supposed umpire clearly picks a side, but on the other hand preaches fairness? It's baffling to say the least. Look at the game they played against Rayo last week. The ref gave 9 minutes, as in 9 whole minutes, for a game that didn't need more than 4 minutes extra time. It was like the game could not end until Real Madrid scored, and of course they did. This is not how to grow the league, far from it. We need to do better and we need to do better from now. But one thing I like about this whole penalty issue was the fact that Barcelona didn't allow that affect their focus. They stayed focused, they stayed patient, and they stayed in control. That, for me, is growth. I need to talk about Lamine Yamal because at this point, it's no more about talent, it's about the decisions he makes on the pitch every single time. He knows when to take defenders on, he knows when to release the ball, and obviously from the game we saw against Mallorca, the defenders were afraid whenever he was running at them. He is a serious problem for defenders and unfortunately he's not going anywhere. He's here to stay and will be a problem for many more years to come. So they better get used to it because he's not going nowhere. I really love the way he took his goal. I mean, the calculation. The moment the ball left his foot, everyone on that pitch knew it was going to end up in the net. The keeper didn't even bother because he knew he couldn't do anything about it. That goal was simply awesome, and this was his 10th La Liga goal of the season, already surpassing what he achieved the whole of last season. And we still have more than 10 games to go in the La Liga. It looks like he may be hitting 16, 17, maybe even 20 goals. Who knows? I was really impressed by Marcus Rashford. He was very important in this victory that we secured. His energy, his directness, it was gold. Whenever he got hold of the ball, he was always looking for something to happen. He created chances and nearly scored from a free kick, and that's very important because Barca are beginning to look dangerous with set pieces again. That could be very useful as the season tightens. For players like Alejandro Balde, this was not his best game, far from it. He was kind of sloppy. I think at some points he gave 3 passes back to back wrongly, and those passes were intercepted. Imagine if they had scored, what would have happened? I don't think that he's doing well, generally speaking. He has the ball, he knows how to run, but apart from that, he doesn't really do much. And I don't know, something needs to happen because this Balde we are seeing cannot take Barcelona to the next level at all. And for Jules Koundé, always playing safe, defensively very poor and never taking risks. There was a time in the game, I think in the second half, Lamine Yamal had the ball and gave him a pass in space. What he needed to do was attack the space because he had a lot of space to run into. But what did he do? He passed back to him. I don't know. I really liked Dani Olmo and Fermin Lopez playing together. Different profiles, different tempos, and it worked. Especially impressive when you consider the fact that Barcelona played without Frenkie de Jong and Pedri, yet controlled the game comfortably. They did awesome. Here's a stat that really tells the story of Barcelona's season so far. Barca have hit the woodwork 21 times. 21. That is not poor play, that is fine margins. If half of all those go in, we are having a different conversation in the La Liga and even in the Champions League. Barcelona are now 4 points clear, having played one more game. But more important than the table is how the team is winning. They are calmer, they are more patient, and they are more composed. And these are exactly the type of games you must win if you are serious about titles. This was one of those games that tells you where a team is mentally. Calm, patient, and in control. So let me know in the comments who impressed you the most today. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on notifications for my next video. I will see you in the next one. Until then, live well, be safe, and Visca Barça.